Hello everybody, welcome to another episode. This is a kind of new kind of thing on the channel. A team preparation video has already been posted. If all goes according to plan, this should be going up on around Friday. It's the Friday after well, it's the Friday after the 15th, so it's gonna be 7th. It's gonna be the 22nd, Friday the 22nd, I believe. Um, because tomorrow will be going up our very first match of the PSN with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we are going to be going up against none other than the Toronto Star Raptors, coached by Sebastian. Well, I'm actually kind of scared about this match because I was looking at my team. I'll read off my team to you quickly right here. I have Excadrill, Talonflame, Mega Scizor, Cresselia, Florges, Galvantula, Cofagrius, Grafty, Shinshino, Weezing, Leafeon, and Glaceon. Now, if you read through those, you realize that I have no water types. So I have no resists, or nothing that hits on super effective damage, except I have Excadrill, which is a ground type, but it's part steel, so I can't use it. I have other things, like I have a Shinshino, which gets Rock Blast, but its defenses are not all that. So I was doing a little bit of calcs, and to my some of my most defensive mons, to Weezing, a Flare Blitz from a Mega Charizard X does 58%. To a Florges does 60%. To a Cresselia does 48%. To a Cofagrius does 53%. So there's no way that I'm living something. So pretty much if I want to beat it, I'm gonna just have to fire off something that is a guaranteed one shot. And I'm actually going to start with that thing that is a guaranteed one shot right here in Shinshino. Now, Shinshino is choice banded because it needs to be able to take down the Mega Charizard X. So, a Flare Blitz from a Mega Charizard X does 130% to a Shinshino, so it's dead. But a Rock Blast is also guaranteed one hit. And we are running max if it's scarfed or if it's assault vested or if it's anything but banded, it will not kill, banded or life orbed. So that's why I have to run banded and I don't want to run life orbed just in case something happens. Okay, I'm also running max speed, max attack with a plus attack nature, which is mandatory. And with all of that, I do outspeed a Mega Charizard X with max speed by um by 11 points of speed. So I just outspeed it and I will one shot it. So that is really good. And then also after, it can be a lead if I need it to, and I can U-turn out. It also has Tail Slap, which does do 98% to a Mega Charizard. So if it is there, I don't think I'd go for that, because Rock Blast is 100 accuracy, and that's only 95, and I don't want to chance anything. But it's also really good stab. So I'll quickly read off Sebastian's team list. He has Mega Charizard X, Clefable, Manaphy, Reluniclus, Cobalion Crocodile, Tangrowth, Smeargle, Electros, Archeops, Garbodor, and Pinsir. So the Electros was a problem, but not too big of what. The Mega Charizard X is the only thing that I am deathly afraid of. If this Shinshino is dead before the Mega Charizard X, then I've lost the battle. Okay, I have lost it. But there's one more thing that we can use, which is our Mega Scizor. This week we are going to be running something really strange with max HP, and it's a defensive Mega Scizor. Because look at those defenses: base 140, base 100, and base 70 in defense, special defense, and HP. That is not that bad. So we could take advantage of it, which is what I'm doing this week. If I get 3 iron defenses up, a Flare Blitz from a Mega Charizard does 58%. So yes, it is a 2-shot, but I can get the Toxic off, and now it's on a timer. and then I can go into the Cresselia, the Florges. If I brought the Cofagrius, the Weezing, I could have gone into any of my defensive mons and just maybe thrown out a Protect, thrown out anything. Or this is like worst case scenario if Shinshino is dead, then this is our backup plan, being Mega Scizor. Um, if it dies and Shinshino's dead, unless the Mega Charizard is toxic, we are dead. There's no way that we are coming back from that. And then the reason why I'm running Bug Bite here instead of something like Bullet Punch is because it still gets boosted by Technician. I can steal a berry if I need to. Like, let's say I get burned or I'm at low health, I can maybe steal a citrus berry from something like, I can steal a chople berry from a possible crocodile. I can steal a citrus berry from a Tangrowth. I can do a lot of things. I can steal maybe even like a Lumberry from a Pinsir or an Archeops if he brings them. But then also, I don't have to worry about priority because we have Galvantula here, which is rocking out with Focus Sash Sticky Webs. So we are guaranteed when our opponents has -1 speed with Mega Scizor, even with no speed investments, it outspeeds most things. I'm pretty sure all it will get outsped by is a Mega Charizard X. It could get outsped by a Scarfed Crocodile, possibly a Scarfed Electros, an Archeops, but that's only because they don't get affected by the sticky webs because they're off the ground. So that is very good. And then also it just has Volt Switch, Giga Drain, and Bug Buzz. Giga Drain for some I'm not going to call it reliable, but for some backup recovery. Volt Switch so that it can be a possible lead because it has some pretty good speed and special attack, so I can Volt Switch right out. And then Bug Buzz, it's mostly just there for coverage, but it can be used against Reluniclus, can be used against Crocodile, Tangrowth, it can be used against, if it needed, it could be used against Pinsir or Garbodor. It can even be something against the Smeargle. I did not bring anything with safety goggles in case the Smeargle comes, but I don't think it's needed. Because for the Smeargle, I have our Scrafty, and we're running Scarfed Moxie Scrafty. It was originally going to be Life Orbed Moxie with Dragon Dance, but I realized that it really wasn't necessary and I wanted something that was scarfed so it will automatically outspeed, because this, without being scarfed, it's pretty slow, but with the scarf it will become faster than the Mega Charizard if it doesn't have Dragon Dances up. That's the thing. If he brings Dragon Dance, if one Dragon Dance comes up, we've lost. Because then Shinshino doesn't outspeed, Scizor doesn't take a Flare Blitz, and yeah, we've just lost, right? And it will also speed this thing. So a Stone Edge, which is another possibility against the Charizard if it doesn't get Dragon Dances up. That's why I just hate this Charizard. I drafted nothing for it. I should have drafted a bulky water type. No one drafted my Lotic. No one drafted Suicune. Both of them would have soaked up a water hit, like, no problem. And I'm just like, yeah. I'm not sure who I would have taken off the team for it, but I know that it would have been a better choice than maybe something like Talonflame or maybe even something like a Cofagrius. I know that I'd have to draft it in in UU, but still, it would just be so great if I had one of those, but I don't. So we're stuck with having to play the do I outspeed game, which is a huge, huge problem because this Scrafty, I'm pretty much relying on a Scrafty, a Shinshino, and a Iron Defense Mega Scizor. Three things that you probably don't want to have to be relying on to take down a Mega Charizard X. I'm also relying kind of on this thing because if I get a Volt Switch off on it, it could do some decent damage. I'm kind of killing myself for not bringing anything with Stealth Rocks because they would have been great to get up, right? But because it would do 50% to the Mega Charizard on switching, but I just can't do that. I feel like that's going to be the reason I die, But if I can deal with the Mega Charizard without having to rely on hacks using this method, then maybe in my next battle versus Sebastian, which will actually be in 2 weeks, we're facing Max next week and then Sebastian again, then maybe we can try bringing rocks. And just a quick thing, here's our schedule. So our first battle is against Sebastian, then we go up against Max, then Sebastian again, then we go up against Julian twice in a row, and then we go up against Max for the finals, and then whoever first place goes up against last place, and second goes up against third, and the two winners go to the finals. I hope I'm there. But let's get on to my last two Pokemon. So we have Moonduck the Cresselia. Leftovers, it's pretty standard, just bulky, with Moonlight, Lunar Dance, Moonblast, and Psyshock. I'm not going to try and set up with this. This is strictly defensive. And then if I need to, I can get a Lunar Dance. Let's say that my Shinshino is almost dead, and it won't be able to deal with the Mega Charizard if it has some sort of priority move, or like he might bring some crazy stuff like Quick Attack Mega Charizard or something. I'm not sure if it gets that, but he could bring something crazy like that. So I can just Lunar Dance back into it, so it won't fall victim to any priority. And yeah, that's pretty much my plan for it. It's pretty standard. Moonblast doesn't do an amazing amount, but it does some. It does enough to a Mega Charizard. Pretty sure it does like 40%. So if I do end up, I don't know, if something ends up happening, it could get some decent damage off on the Mega Charizard. It doesn't outspeed, but it can take a Flare Blitz. It can take a Dragon Claw. It can take an Earthquake. It can take an Outrage. It just can't take two of an Outrage or a Flare Blitz, and if it has more than one Dragon Dance up, nothing's living. And then our final Pokemon this week is Florges. So Florges is leftovers, and I'm trying to something new. Symbois? I think that's what it is. So what it is, I'll bring up a description right here, is if an ally uses its item, so let's say it's a berry like the Focus Sash on Galvantula, or if it gets knocked off, then it gets the leftovers from my Florges. I decided that it would probably be better than Flower Veil because I don't have any other grass types. So it doesn't really matter because I didn't bring Leafeon, and I think that's my only grass type. I didn't bring Leafeon, so I was just like, well, let's try this out. I don't think I've ever seen it because most people don't want their Florges losing its leftovers. But for me, this is more of a support Florges. It's not supposed to be something that sits on the field for years and just takes hits. I know that Cresselia can be a big victim to um, knockoffs, right? So it could get a second set of leftovers, which could be good. When this thing loses its focus sash, it could get leftovers, which wouldn't be ideal, but it could happen. I could put a scarf on it so that but then the problem is if this thing gets knocked off, it would get a scarf, and that would not be good for Cresselia. Or this thing already has a scarf, so it's fine. But this thing, it would lose its choice band and get a scarf, and then a rock blast wouldn't kill Mega Charizard, and it just wouldn't be good. I'd have to be relying on crits then to get the kill, which when you're hitting 5 times consecutively, a crit is not that rare. But I don't want to have to rely on hacks to beat Sebastian. I want to be able to beat Sebastian because I can beat him, right? So I'm just kind of trying something new with the Florges here. And it's just support with Heal Bell Wish, Protect Toxic, and it's just defensive with HP. So there's nothing too special about it. It's just a normal support Florges, but I hope it can do something good for us, and I hope that it doesn't screw us over. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the battle. Bye bye.